Okay, here is the most difficult topic. Just take it slow, pause, take notes, sleep on this. It's going to be fine. Heritability is the proportion of total variation between individuals in a given population due to genetic variation. Simply said, this has to do with differences within a population due to genetics. That's it. It does not reflect the extent to which traits are passed down from parent to offspring, because heritability does not mean inherited. It's not heredity. So we represent heritability as a score. It ranges anywhere from 0, which means that it has nothing to do with genetics, to 1, which means that it is solely based on genetics. So don't think of this as being like, oh, this has to do with environmental, this has to do with genetics. Just think about it in reference to genetics. So differences within a population due to genetics. This has nothing to do with individuals and how their traits differ. It is due to a population. All right, let's go with some really simplistic scenarios to help you understand this. So this is what we call the barrel boys. And this is a totally fake scenario, but I want you to imagine that they do a study and they take 5 boys of the same age and they place them in their own individual barrels, completely identical. A hole would be cut in each one to allow for oxygen in addition to the same types and amounts of food and water and for them to, relieve themselves. And so say we open those back up in like 20 years. What percentage would we say genes are responsible for the differences they have? Well, because their environments are completely identical, then really the only differences these boys should have should be genetic. And so we would say that this would be 1 or 100%. So heritability is 1 since the variation is due to genetic differences. Contrasting this, we've got a scenario called the clones. I want you to consider a situation in which there are 4 clones made of one person. Each of those 5 individuals are going to be placed in various locations: the US, Chile, Kenya, China, and Australia. And then we take a look at them in like 20 years as well. What percentage or what value would we say genes are responsible for the differences that they have? Well, they are completely identical as human beings. Their environment is vastly different, though. So we would say that their heritability is 0, since the variation here is due to environmental differences only.